In this video I'm going to be breaking down the lighting used in this medium shot. So to start with, let's get our shot framed up so we can roughly see what we're working with. For this demonstration we're going with a fairly typical medium interview look, having the subject look just off camera. This framing can change throughout the lighting process, but just so we have some starting point, I think right there looks pretty nice. So right now we're just looking at the lighting from the actual room, which is a ceiling light and some light coming through the window. Now this could work for a run and gun documentary, but I think we can do a lot better. We'll start by blocking out all of the natural light from the window, and we'll turn the room lights off when we have some other lights in the room. We'll start with our key light. I'm using quite a harsh light at the moment just so I can get the position nailed down. I think I'm going to go with a loop lighting setup just for my key. If you'd like to learn more about lighting conventions in cinema, then I made a video a few weeks back breaking down some lighting directions. Just click the banner on the top right of the screen. So the direction of the key light looks pretty nice. It's about 40 degrees off to the side of the subject, and an important note is that I'm placing the key light offside. This means that I'm shooting on the shadow side of the subject's face. This gives a lot more dimension to the subject's face as opposed to shooting on the key side. This is a cinematic convention that appears in just about every film, and it's moving across into interviews more and more. With an onside key light, you can see that this causes the lighting to look really flat and directional. Sure, this might be what you're going for, but for this setup we're going to use offside key lighting. Time to add some diffusion. You can use anything from a 5-in-1 reflector to a white shower curtain, but I'm going to use this dome softbox. Now, the darker side of the subject's face is looking a little bit too dark for my liking, so let's sort that out. That 5-in-1 reflector that I was talking about, let's use that to bounce some light from the key back onto our subject's face. I'm just going to clamp it down to a spare cheap lighting stand. Let's talk about the background because it's looking pretty boring. I love practical lights. They allow for so many options for motivated light, so let's add a small one back there. At the moment it's a little bit intense, so I'm going to use this dimmer switch. I got a bunch of these from Amazon. They're really handy to have, so I definitely recommend getting some. I'm not liking how the subject seems to be blending in with the background a little bit, so let's fix that. I'm going to dim a small LED panel down and pop it just behind the subject to give a little hair light motivated by the practical that we placed there. This helps to give a little bit more separation between the subject and the background. To give some motivation to the massive key light source, I'm going to place another strong light source a couple of feet back from the key and point it at the background. I'm going to clamp a small piece of cardboard with some slits in it in front of the light to give the impression of some window light coming through some blinds. I'm going to cool the light off just a little bit to give a subtle colour contrast between the warmer tones in the scene already. Lastly, if this were more of a narrative scene, then we could experiment with using a little bit of haze, so let's give that a go. In the grade, I didn't need to do too much. I just adjusted the curves to affect the shadows, midtones and highlights. I also went in there to adjust the skin tones to make sure that they were nice and neutral. So let's take a look at the final result. Here's before and here is after. Let me know what you would have done differently in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay updated with all of my future uploads. As always, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.